Yes, and good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good, and good afternoon as well. This video is about the remarkable Nottingham Forest fans who are now of all ages, same as Newcastle. I know a hell of a lot of Nottingham Forest fans. I've grew up with a lot of Nottingham Forest fans. I still see the same Nottingham Forest fans. And what a club! What a club! And what a remarkable, phenomenal Premier League season they're having. And the history of the club, for the Clough days in the Premier League in the 90s with the Brian Roys, Peter Van Hooijdonk, Stevie Stone, Steve Shettle, Ian Wone, Mark Crosley, Stuart Pearce, the great, as Arsenal legend as well, Kevin Campbell. The list is Jean-Claude Darchibel. I don't know if Forest fans remember him. I remember him coming on against Arsenal in a midweek match, Monday Night Football, as it always used to be. And I think Arsenal won 2-1. And Forest played in a blue kit, if I remember right. And they brought this guy in, and I thought, wow, who's that? And he was rapid. I can't remember if he scored that night, though. But he literally gave Arsenal problems. He was so quick, and I thought, wow, what a player this is. And they just had, just some fantastic footballers. Majeski, he did okay in the Championship. And what a season. What a season they're having. And Nuno Espirito Santo is by far the manager of the season. This team last season was fighting relegation. And you've got Nuno, who was 51 years old, which that's a good age, I think, for a management. That really is good age for management. You've got a lot of experience. You're not too old. You've got another 10 year, probably at the top level. And I've got a list here with the players. You've got the veteran New Zealand striker Chris Wood, who's 33, and I remember watching him. I keep saying this, and I can't remember if it was last season or the season before, but I watched him and I thought, wow, I mean, he just can't finish. He's had spells that he played for Burnley, Newcastle, Leeds United, and I think he played for, no, I'm going to say Wickham, but that's Sam Vokes, I think it is. I always say they look a bit like each other. And I watched him, I think it was 2 seasons ago, and or even started last season. I thought if Forest had a striker, they wouldn't be fighting relegation battle. He just wasn't finishing. And this season, he's been prolific. He's been absolutely fantastic, scoring penalties, scoring headers. I remember a goal, I can't remember it against, but where he got the ball and kind of shifted it away, turned his whole body, and lost the defender. I can't remember it well, and just basically passed it into the side of the net, into the bottom corner of the net, and it was an absolute quality goal. Fantastic finish. He's a great striker. He is. He really is. I'm eating my words with that one. What I seen when he couldn't finish, because he's proved this season he's been fantastic. So yeah, Chris Woods, 33. Will he do it next season? That's the thing. That's the thing, Forest fans. I don't know. I know for a fact, someone who lives close to me, you will need another striker next season. And if I were Forest, I would go all in, and I would spend 50, 60 million maybe on one striker, because you don't need much more. I think if Forest spend 120 million, I think they will be another big force next season. I'm not saying you'll have the same season next season, because you'll hopefully have the Champions League, and it will be difficult. It's just complete different level with your squad, trying to rotate it. But I think if Forest spend about 120 million in summer, and even if they spend 50 million on a striker, I just think they need to make sure they've got a striker in case Chris Wood just don't have the same season as he has had this season next season, which it's very likely that might happen. He might score 12, 15 goals, but I don't think he'll have the same season. But he's done fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Morello, 22, Brazilian international. I mean, I look at him and I just think brick wall. my team, Arsenal, by the way. I just look at Morello and Milinkovic, and I just see. I will say this, and I'm not biased because if you've not come across my videos, I can't stand Mikel Arteta. He's a stubborn, smug, prick, arrogant asshole. What he's done for Arsenal, letting us down when we should be winning the league this season. But when I look at Morello and Milinkovic, it's like it reminds me of Gabriel and Saliba. Now they're not the same, they're not as good because Gabriel and Saliba have been doing it last season, you know. But the partnership, how they link up together, Konate and Van Dijk, to have two centre backs in sync with each other, communicating perfect, showing for the ball perfect. One goes, one drops back, knowing when one wins duels, you know, it's like they're just in sync, everything. There's nothing else really can say. One will go up in air, one will step back. If one goes up in air, one drops. Or if one's running down the wing, the other one knows where to be in the box, ready, because that ball's coming in and there's going to be the other winger lurking and waiting, and preferably the striker. So they're just in sync, they work together, they I-5 each other, and I think they're fantastic. I really do. Morello, 22-year-old Brazilian, can you keep hold of him? Because to me, he looks like he could play for my club, Arsenal, but we don't need him. Real Madrid, Chelsea, all, you know, the clubs what's been big heavyweights over the years. But I personally think he'll stay at Forest. Why wouldn't you? I mean, great club, great manager. You've got good owners. You've got a fantastic fan base, just like Newcastle's. So yeah, I mean, to me, I think he would stay at Forest. I really do. I think he'll want to try and be a part of this new, what can you say? New Nottingham Forest in Champions League, you know, and just I can't really say anything apart from remarkable season. I am so impressed. Then you got Milinkovic, 27. Some terms, these Arteta fans who support my club, Arsenal, well, they just support Arteta, by the way, not Arsenal Football Club. Anything Mikel Arteta does says, it's all, yes, Mikel, but, and they say 27 is too old. It's absolutely bullshit. 27, in my time of watching football, for watching it for 33 years, I've always known 27 has been the number, and obviously the age where players are in the prime. But according to these Mikel Arteta fans, what I've seen, not all of them, but most of them, it's now, oh, you're too old at 25, 26. It's absolutely ridiculous, some of the stuff they come out with. Anderson. When Forest signed it from Newcastle, I will say, honestly, I didn't really know much about him. Heard of him, just in and around in the shadows in Newcastle's team. So, on that one, and he's 22, by the way, he's been fantastic this season. Going back to Milinkovic, sorry, he's been an absolute brick wall. Obviously, I've said that with Morello. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Again, 27. You'd pay 60 million for him probably. Absolutely. Elliot Anderson. Like I said, I didn't know loads about him. I've seen him play, you know, for Newcastle, as you do. You see all these players for other clubs. But when Newcastle was selling him for 35 million, I thought, wow, that's a good bit of business for Newcastle. Well, you know what? It's kind of roles reverse here, because 35 million for Anderson is a steal. Because I look at him now, and he's probably worth 50 million because he's got a lot of potential. He's already a fantastic player. He's been great this season for Nottingham Forest, and again, he's only 22. Morgan Gibbs-White, wow. Used to see him play, obviously, for Wolves. You know, it catches your eye. I think he's a good player. He's just got levels and levels better since he's been at Nottingham Forest. 25. Deserves to be in that England setup, absolutely. He's fantastic. He's got a lot of speed. When he runs with the ball, there's power there, there's strength. He has no fear. He's got confidence to shoot. And he's a baller. He's just a baller. He's an all-round baller. You can trust him every game. And 25, which, again, perfect age. Then, the different one, where, again, same age as Chris Wood. You've got Sells, Belgian international, 33. Again, people will say, no, too old for a goalkeeping age. Well, it's not, because 33, to me, you've still got even 3 years at the top level. I personally believe that. I think goalkeepers, as we know, they can be coming into their prime at this age, at 30, 33, and still play till 36, 38, 40. And he's been fantastic. He's absolutely class. And I'm not going to pretend I know his height, but is he about 6'5", 6'6"? He's been brilliant. Absolutely great goalkeeper. He commands his area well. He's strong when he gets down with his hand. It's just a presence, what you want behind as a goalkeeper. So again, looking at this, Chris Wood banging the goals in at 33, Morello 22, Brazilian international, Milinkovic Serbian international 27, Anderson 22, Gibbs White, Sells. That, you know, and there'll be others. Alenga's been, Alina, you know, these others. Forest have been incredible, remarkable. This team were fighting relegation last season. And to top it off, they've drawn 6 games this season and lost 7. Now, you know, lost 7. Some people might look at that and think, oh, 7's a lot. Yeah, maybe it is, but they're third. They're third in the league. They haven't moved away from nearly like out to the top 4 for months and months and months. I can't remember how long it is, but they've been there most of the season. Nuno, like I said, started video, 51 years old, great age. 14th of December, Forest fans, obviously you know this. This is where it gets very impressive. 14th of September, Forest 1, Liverpool 0. Since that time, nobody, absolutely nobody, in the Premier League has beat Liverpool. You're the only club to beat Liverpool this season. That alone is something to be very proud of, when you can match it with being third, still in the FA Cup, and gonna be in the Champions League. It just, every time you say it, it gets better and better. What a season Nottingham Forest have had, seriously. 14th of January, Forest 1, Liverpool 1. Still didn't beat you. So you've beat Liverpool, the only team to beat them in the Premier League. You've drawn to Liverpool, and you've already done, well, not already, you've done the double over Manchester United this season. If you'd have said to Forest fans at the start of this season, from fighting relegation last season, will you be third in April in the Premier League, they would have laughed at you. Realistically, they would have laughed and said, not a chance, stop taking the piss. Because, you know, they're fighting relegation last season. Will you be third in April? Will you still be in the FA Cup? Will you be, obviously, in the Champions League as it stands right now? And would you be the only team to beat Liverpool this season? And would you have done a double over Manchester United? All those things I've just listed off. If you said that to a Forest fan at the start of the season, they would seriously think you're taking the piss and just said, stop talking rubbish. You know, that's just ridiculous. So Nottingham Forest are my team of the season. Nuno Espirito Santo is my manager of the season. And I can't say no more about him. Remarkable season. Nottingham Forest, what a season. Remarkable. Phenomenal season. Nuno Espirito Santo, manager of the season by far. And personally, I know people don't like to hear this sometimes, if they go and win the FA Cup, does he deserve a statue? I don't know on that one. That might be a bit too much, but what a season Nottingham Forest had. Phenomenal, absolute phenomenal. Enjoy your day, everybody.